Welcome back, YouTube. It's time for the next episode of Socialist Canada. First of all, we got a message on the law of religious criticism. I believe the referendum came to a vote. Let's check it out. The referendum passed. The new law has therefore entered into force. Turnout was average. I don't know what affects turnout for the referendums exactly, but who cares? I like to use referendums for any law that I can, except ones about individual rights or minority rights. I don't think the majority should vote on those. In those cases, I think Parliament should just vote in the best interests of, democracy and uphold the rights of individuals and minority groups. But anyways, let's keep going. We're coming up on March here when I'm going to really explain how to handle your finances and economy. Whoa, that's surprising. We got some confidential information already from China. What does our Chinese mole have to tell us? Prime Minister, I have proof that Chinese government sold 2 nuclear missiles to Oman. I have already communicated this information to your secret services, and they have recorded it in their files. A crunchy revelation that is worthy of these small premiums with which you favor those who serve you with enthusiasm, right? Oh, all that? Thank you, Prime Minister. My pleasure. So, in other words, we paid our Chinese mole to give us this information. China sold nuclear missiles to a non-nuclear state in the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. I don't know if that's a big deal or not, but actually we don't want to alienate China. We want to get them on board, because when you get good secrets on countries, what you can do is try to use that to overthrow their government, like get a new government elected. But in China, there's only one party, so that wouldn't work. And also, the other reason we're spying on China is we want to get them to be better friends. So someday we might be able to get on the UN Security Council. Can't do that if China or Russia or any of the permanent members of the Security Council oppose you. And like China, if we zoom in, they have red relations with us. They don't like us. You can see they're red. So, we're not going to do anything about that right now. Alright. Newspaper time. Let's check. Have there been any disasters we can find? No, just the old atomic radiation ones. I'm going to read the newspaper, and I'll cut the recording now unless there's something really juicy in the newspaper. I'll be right back. Okay, I just wanted to show you this. I can't remember if I already showed you this or not, but our agent 001 is ready for action in Russia. So he could assassinate the head of the Russian military. We have really no reason to do that right now. The only reason he's over there is to try to dig up some dirt on Russia, to hold it against them, to kind of blackmail them into supporting us to get onto the Security Council. Or we might uncover, same with China, we might uncover that they're actually funding terrorists in our country or doing something against Canada, in which case we might use it. But there's no reason for me to assassinate the head of the Russian military. The only reason to do that, as far as I know, from GPS4, the previous version of the game, is that if you assassinate their head of military, you can then launch a war against them. And for like 2 days or 3 days, 48 or 72 hours, they won't respond. Like their military will be frozen. So in other words, if you kill the very head of their military, they'll be unable to respond to military attacks. So in some games, for example, if you were playing as North Korea or South Korea and you wanted to attack the other one, assassinating their head of their chief of staff will give you like 2 or 3 days of free attacking without any military response. But obviously we're not about to invade Russia or attack Russia, so I'm just going to refuse. And let's keep going. Okay, we've gotten through now to the 1st of March. In March, June, and September, those are the last months of each financial quarter. This game breaks down your national finances based on quarters. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. March is the last month of quarter 1. So what we want to do in March, June, and September is cut expenditures and raise taxation to have more money. What you want to do in October is spend money and reduce taxation to maximize growth. Now, we are playing as socialists, so we want to do socialist things. You have to tailor your actions based on your party's ideology. So as socialists, we want to increase taxes on the wealthy, decrease taxes on the poor and working class. We want to increase social expenditure, and we want to decrease expenditure on the state, like the army and the police. And in a country like Canada, we don't really have any direct military threats close to our borders, so we are free to do that. You have to tailor what you're doing based on your country's situation and your party's ideology. Very important. First of all, let's check our general situation. We have a budget surplus of 1.07%. I'm going to write this down. We have growth, financial GDP growth of 1.25%. What we're going to do now might actually decrease growth, but we want to maximize growth in the 4th quarter. So in October, you spend money and decrease taxation to slam growth. All right, and our inflation is currently, it's going down. That's good. We don't need to mess with it right now. 1.02%. How's our crime rate doing? We have to zoom in a bit. That's hard to see. It is decreasing. Okay, so the first thing you want to do on March, June, and September 1st is meet with the people who you're going to cut. Butter them up. Sweeten them up so that they don't get too angry. Now, I already met with the head of the army. I'm going to meet with him again. He loves me, so this will be easy. I'm going to meet him, butter him up, sweeten him up right before I cut his budget. And same for the head of the Secret Service, the intelligence agency. Police union. I'm going to cut expenditures there. I'm cutting expenditures on areas where I feel they are either wasted or non-socialist, so that in October I have lots of money to spend on the things I want to increase. And the other person I want to meet is the Minister of Defense. That's in government. I'm not going to cut the Army tab directly, but I am going to cut some costs associated with it. And I'll show you that in a second. Alright, I got a mole in Qatar. That's nice. Oh, so then I should change my priorities there. Qatar. I have a mole, so let's change it to... Do they have free political party? No, they don't. So then approaching unions and associations might not help too much either. What should I do in Qatar? Really, all I need is a mole. Should I just close the network? Political spying, I have now. I have a mole. So, industrial sabotage, that's a bit aggressive. Dismantle terrorist groups, no. I don't want to help the government. Approach terrorist groups, no. That can really hurt you if you get caught. Yeah, I guess I'll just approach unions and associations to try to destabilize them a bit. try to make them more democratic. Did that work? Wait a minute. Yeah, okay, it worked. Here's my meeting with the chief of our army. Offer coffee. Cheer him up. Offer champagne. Can't do that in the majority Muslim countries, by the way. Can't offer champagne because Muslims don't drink alcohol. Practicing Muslims. You're the best. Does he love me? Yeah, he loves me. So I don't need to bother offering national medal or bribing him. Alright, good. Oh, by the way, we have a surplus. So I don't need to meet with our creditors. If you have a deficit in June, in March, June, and September, you should meet the people who are going to lend you, and you can click on next estimate. That will show you the people who are going to lend you. You should meet with those lenders, try to negotiate your interest rate, but we're not going to have any because we have a surplus. That's important too. Director of Intelligence AG, offer coffee, cheer him up. Champagne. You're the best. And he loves me. Okay, good. Next day. Police union. I haven't met him before. Coffee. There is no cheer him up. Militants can be proud. Champagne. And he loves me. I think that's because, remember when we had the riots, I doubled the police force. So he loves me. Good. And Minister of Defense. Coffee. Cheer him up. Champagne. He loves me. Okay, good. So now it's time to make our big financial changes. First of all, I'm going to raise taxes. And first of all, if you look at my election promises, topic, taxation, I did promise in my election campaign to create a tax on financial transactions of 0.1%. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to tax the financial speculators. Taxation. Create. It will be a new law, a new tax. No, not redundancy, sorry. 0.1. So I'm going to fulfill one of my promises, and I'm going to make a whole whack of money. $14.5 billion a year. That's a lot. And now I'm going to cut spending on everything. As a socialist, I believe we should cut. I like to cut things by one star at a time. Now, I don't want to cut environment, but if you look here, we're funding earthquakes and cyclone, like hurricane recovery a lot. Canada doesn't have earthquakes, really, or hurricanes. We don't have earthquakes or hurricanes, so let's decrease it by 1 star each. I like to do things by 1 star. Makes the game more long-term playable, and it makes people get less angry. Police. I'm going to cut. Okay, let's check our stats first. Drug addiction rate is going down. Good. Violent deaths going down. Killed on road accidents going down. So I can cut those areas. I'll cut highway patrol. I will cut... I like IT task force. I think that makes this a modern, responsive police country. I will cut... What else? Fight against illegal immigration. And I will increase securities and exchange. I want to catch those tax cheaters and rich, corrupt people. Internal affairs. I want to cut down on corrupt policemen. Local district police. I think people should be policed by their local cops. I think that makes people happier and less likely to riot. Big economy. I think because I'm increasing all these other sectors, I can decrease the criminal investigation squad. If crime rate rises, I will re-increase it. So look, we're going to save $2.6 billion. That's a lot. Right now, excess 1.07%. When we make these cuts, 1.18. So we just saved a lot of money. Secret Service. I'm going to cut certain areas here too. There are a lot of areas you do need in this game. Secret Service is very important, but I'm not spying on people's militaries, and I'm not trying industrial espionage. If I do that later, I will re-increase. $153 million savings. Work. Unemployment is decreasing, so I'm going to cut back on the checks on the unemployed receiving payment. I don't need to investigate people claiming unemployment insurance so much. That saves us quite a bit of money, $300 million. Next is research. I'm going to cut down on the military research. Canada doesn't really have many enemies, so let's cut that down. That's a lot of money. Look at that, $2.2 billion. For Canada, that's a lot of money. Culture, no. Media, no. Sports. I'm going to cut down on the disciplines that I consider individualistic or for rich people, because we're socialists, right? Rowing. No, rowing's okay. It's a team sport in Canada. Boxing, I'll cut down. Horseback riding is at 0 because of Bordeaux. I don't like to put things at 0. 1 is okay. Fencing, I'll cut. Golf, I'll cut. Scroll down. Judo, I'll cut. Karate, oops, to 1 star. I just cut things by 1 or raise things by 1. Swimming, figure skating, windsurfing, I'll cut. It's for rich hippies. Polo, I'll cut. That's obviously for like aristocrats. Skiing is at 0. I'll put it to 1. Sumo, I'll cut. Come on, sumo wrestling in Canada, give me a break. Doesn't exist. Table tennis is at oh, wait a minute. Surfing, I'll cut. Tennis, I'll cut. Table tennis is at 0. I'll put it to 1. Shooting, I'll cut. Sailing, I'll cut. All right. It's only $44 million, but, you know, every dollar counts eventually. Especially if you cut things every quarter. It adds up, right? And I think that is it. Okay, so I'm going to advance. When we get to April, you will see how much things have improved. The GDP growth might be decreased because we increased taxes and decreased spending. But in October, we're going to fix all that. In October, we will spend and we will reduce taxes. So let's go forward. Okay, so I was scrolling through March, but we've got a terrorist attack here. Grenade attack at post office, 4 dead. A fragmentation grenade was thrown in the middle of the town's post office. Many people appear to have died of injuries from shrapnel explosion. The perpetrator of this attack managed to get away, but we have quite a precise description. It's in Iqaluit, way up here in the northern territory of Nunavut. As if a terrorist attack would ever occur here. It's way up in the Arctic in a self-controlled territory by Canadian Inuit people. Anyways, attacking Iqaluit, Total Jihad group claims responsibility. Total Jihad is Al-Qaeda. In a press release, the terrorist organization has claimed responsibility for the attack. Our services are trying to confirm this information. So we'll have to wait until we find out for sure who did it. Our intelligence agencies will give us that in a little while. In the meantime, we can increase the funding for public safety. I think this sector, public safety in the police, helps, protect against terrorist attacks and foreign intelligence attacks. It's expensive though, but anyways, let's do it. Alright, I've got a newspaper waiting, so let's just check. Are there any disasters I can fund? Oh yeah, there are. France had a terrorist action. Cost them 25 million. So let's give them 9 million. I like to give about 1/4. Israel had a terrorist action. Okay, let's give them 1 million. That's Fukushima. Syria had a terrorist action. Alright, let's give them 200,000. And I'll just read the newspaper now, so I'll be right back. I got deals. I made a bargain with some moles in both Egypt and Pakistan. So what I've done is I've changed spying priority to approach political groups. So now that I have a mole in those countries, I can get some dirt on anything nefarious that their government is doing. I will now try to fund socialist political parties in those countries. Alright. And I'm just going to tell the newspaper, so I'll be right back. Alright, Laos has chosen their head of state. And Laos is communist but authoritarian. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give them some aid. I don't want to meet with that. Meeting with authoritarians hurts your popularity. And I don't really want to be military allies with authoritarians either. Because in this game, authoritarians start wars more often. So I don't really want to be their ally. And they probably hate me anyways. Usually, authoritarian states hate democratic states in general. It's not so simple, but as a general rule, when you're playing as Canada, they do anyways. So, but I want to keep them in power because we're trying to make a worldwide socialist revolution, baby. So I'm gonna double my military aid to them from 0.009 to 0.018. And let's keep going. Alright, our intelligence agency has discovered some information on the attack on the post office or police office or whatever it is. Attack in Iqalit, false claim by the jihadist caliphate group, that's ISIS.
The members of this organization are in no way involved in the attack. The news of our infiltrated networks, combined with the questioning of former members, gives us certainty. This disinformation operation was doubtlessly a means for them to increase their representation and to spread more confusion in the country.
Okay, so ISIS didn't do it. They claimed responsibility, but they didn't really do it. Attack in Iqalit, claimed by Total Jihad Group, confirmed. Total Jihad is Al-Qaeda.
Our services corroborate the information provided by this organization. There is no doubt that they are the perpetrators of the attack.
Okay, so I already increased my funding for public safety. Now, we need to crack down on these terrorists. Let's fund the fight against terrorism. I forgot. In March, one thing I should have cut more was the special international agents. I think 250 is more than enough, so let's do that as well. Now, I need to infiltrate these people attacking me, which is Total Jihad. Let's infiltrate them. Try to crack down and dismantle their terrorist network in Canada. I don't like to mess with the terrorist networks until they mess with me. But Total Jihad, you messed with me. So now, you're in for a gunfight, baby. And we're going to win. Let's keep going. Alright, the law on financial transactions has passed, I think. Good. The oldest person in the country thinks I'm really great. Alright, let's keep going. Okay, we have some confidential information from our mole in China. Prime Minister, I have proof that Chinese government sold 2 nuclear missiles to Colombia. I have already communicated this information to your secret services, and they have recorded it in their files. A crunchy revelation that is worthy of these small premiums with which you favor those who serve you with enthusiasm, right? Oh, all that? Thank you, Prime Minister. My pleasure. So our mole in China uncovered some nefarious activities by the Chinese government, but in China there's no, it's a one-party state. So if we were to reveal this, it wouldn't really replace the government of China. And what we want to do is get on China's good side, because they are a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, and we want to get on their good side. So maybe someday Canada can join as a member of the Security Council, a permanent member. So revealing this really just won't help us at all, unless we found out they were literally attacking us, funding terrorists in our country or something. Then there's not much we should do. Alright, little old Micronesia has a crisis. Standing alone against the rest means the people are protesting against their government, and they are democratic, presidential, and communist. So I will send them some money, some aid. I'll double it from 12 to 24 million a year. Come on, Bessie. What's going on here? And can I meet them? No, they're a microstate. So sometimes some of these tiny countries you can't meet with them. So I'll just send them a non-aggression pact directly. Alright, it is April 2nd, so here are some financial results. Here's our Minister for Finance.
Good news. Our financial performance in the last quarter shows a cash surplus. This will help us reduce our debt service. Let's keep it up.
Right on. Alright, let's check them out. Let's check out all the indicators. At the beginning of March, our surplus was 1.07%. Now it is 2.95%. Massive increase in the budget surplus. Let's check out growth. It might have shrank, actually, but that's okay if it did. It was 1.25. Now it's 0.95. That's okay. We will increase it in October and December. But in this game, inflation is pegged to growth. So, I don't know if inflation will have already fallen, but it will next month, I think. It was 1.02%. Now it is 1.01%. So it has already fallen. So the most important thing in March, June, and September is to decrease your deficit or increase your surplus. Look at that, 2.95%. Awesome. We're going to do that again in June and September. So in October, when it's time to spend money and maximize our growth, we're going to have so much money to spend. I'm going to end this episode here. Thank you for watching. I'm going to publish this as part of my Canadian Socialist Canada series, and also part of my tutorial on economy. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, please post them below. And please like this video, and please subscribe to my channel to find out more about how to play Geopolitical Simulator 4 Power and Revolution better, because I'm going to help you become awesome at this game. Thank you so much for watching, YouTube. See you next time. Bye-bye.